Everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So I wanted to actually do a Q&A video and talk about some news here regarding Andrew Lincoln, because he was actually cast in a new series, and I want to get into that and some of the details there because it's actually kind of big news. So before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all of my Walking Dead content like this. The Boys episode 4, I think it was episode 5 actually, just came out. I didn't review episode 4 yet, so later on tonight I'm going to be doing my breakdown for episode 4 and 5, and then I'll be able to do a lot more stuff later on tonight, because I actually have a night off tonight. So yeah, I'm excited about that. So definitely make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all of that. But let's get into the first news here, I guess, before we get into the Q&A. And that is that Andrew Lincoln's actually going to be making a return to British television in ITV's newly commissioned Cold Water. And this quote comes from HollywoodReporter.com. So I'll leave a link down below if you do want to check out the article here. They're the ones that reported it here, that Andrew Lincoln is actually going to be in a new TV show here called Cold Water. And it's going to be his first return to British television, I believe, in quite some time now. So obviously very exciting, because I probably, like, if there's a way for me to watch this, I'm not entirely sure how I'm able to watch this, because it's going to be on British television and maybe afterwards it's going to end up coming here. But I will check it out, because it seems like it's more of a thriller, like a thriller drama. Now, I know everyone's going to be saying right away, and everyone's going to be wondering, well, like, does this mean that Andrew Lincoln's not going to be doing a new series with The Walking Dead? No, this is just like a 6-part thriller. So I believe they're going to be filming later on this year, and then that's it, they're done. So I'm not sure when this show is going to be coming out, but they're going to be filming later on this year, and then I assume in 2025 it'll actually come out. But yeah, in terms of like filming and all of that, and like, you know, being a part of The Walking Dead, like, obviously if they're going to be doing a season 2 or a new series, like, they're not going to be filming this year. I don't even think they'd be filming next year, to be honest. Like, I don't know where they are in terms of that. I think they're very much in like the writing phase of that, right? And just coming up with stories and all of that. I think they still need to write the perfect story, and once they're all excited about it, then they'll do it. Yeah, so in terms of this being, you know, like, oh, he's never going to be coming back to The Walking Dead now, he's a part of a new television show. This is only a 6-part series that they're filming later on this year, and then once filming wraps up, that's basically done. I mean, the show could always get renewed for like a season 2, but the thing is, when it comes to shows like this, though, this really is like very much limited series stuff, right? Like with The Ones Who Live, it's different because it's a part of The Walking Dead, and we know that these characters continue on and on and on, right? Like, there's a whole world out there with all these characters, and obviously, you know, Rick Grimes was a part of a TV show that lasted a very long time, so it's very different, obviously. Like, there's a difference between this new series that just came out and The Walking Dead, right? So this really does, to me, at least confirm my idea that I have on, like, you know, how they're approaching The Walking Dead, and just like returning as Rick Grimes. As I feel like, you know, if you just look at it as like, yeah, that would be really exciting to do and a lot of fun to do, but obviously you do want to make like a lot of money, like financially, and you want to, you know, have that sort of, I don't know, you don't want to throw that away. Like, I feel like if you can have that, like if you can play a character like Michonne or like Rick Grimes, right? Like, you want to, you know, keep those characters around for as long as you can and tell obviously worthwhile stories with them, just because for your own career, you know, it does help out quite a bit. Like, you know, a lot of people, a lot of actors don't get roles like that. So that's why I feel like, you know, they're going to go out and do all these new things like this, and then every couple years do like, you know, a new Walking Dead story. I think that it just makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I mean, it's a smart career move overall, right? Like, you just always have like that character that you can play. Like, you can always come back, and it's going to be like a big deal, because imagine if their characters died, you know, they could never really come back and play, you know, those characters. I think of the characters that, you know, have died on The Walking Dead. I'm sure those actors, you know, wish that they could come back in like a new Walking Dead series, right? Like, just think of like Shane. I think John Bernthal would love to come back to play Shane in some way, but like, how do you do it? Because his story ended so perfectly, and also he died, and there's not really a lot of story to tell before that. I'm sure if there was a way that they could do it, they would, but there's just not really a worthwhile story to tell there. Like, you can't really come up with a story that would make sense to tell, you know, in the very early moments of the apocalypse, because it's not, I don't know, it doesn't make a lot of sense, right? So I think of it like that. I think that that's why a lot of these characters are probably going to be around for a while, because these characters can hold shows on their own, and, you know, for the actors, like, they can always come back and just play that character again, and it's always something that's there, right? But yeah, really amazing news about Andrew Lincoln. But I do want to get into the actual like Q&A here. So first of all, thank you guys for posting all of your questions here. Q&A, what other kind of variants do you think they'll eventually add? I don't know what kind of variants they'll eventually get around to doing in, like, you know, like season 2 of Daryl Dixon. I feel like right now, just sort of take it slower. You know, like, you've already introduced a lot of new variants and a lot of new ideas in like season 1 and all that. I think just focus on that for now and just get what you can out of all of that, and then maybe eventually just like raise the stakes a lot more, right? Like I think that's the way to handle it. You don't want to go like all crazy and just keep like upping, the stakes constantly, because eventually you end up like with the Dragon Ball Z effect, where it's like you always have to constantly do that. I think it's smart to like bring it down sometimes and then just tell more of an interesting story there before you start to like bring it back up again, right? So I think that's sort of like, to me, I think that's where they're at. I do think with the variants though, like there's little things that you can do with that. Like I've sort of mentioned it in recent videos. Like I think you can make it where the variant walkers don't kill each other anymore, that they actually like, they recognize that they are walkers and they only kill like humans kind of thing. And I also think that it would be cool to have reveals of like characters that we know being variant walkers. I think that would be like really shocking, and I think would be really cool. Q&A, now that we know Janae is behind the running zombies, how do you think the climbing ones came to be? They feel much more natural than the ones in France. Perhaps evolution. I think that was more of like, I don't really know the story there. Maybe Gimple has written a story there, but to me, I think in season 1, that was just what the walkers did. Like Frank Darabont probably never really went into it, really in depth in terms of, oh, this walker's going to do this and it's a new variant, but walkers over here are going to do that. Like I'm assuming anyways, I don't think he really, went into depth with it that much. I think that was just, they were making a zombie show, and I think that it was just in the scene, the zombies had to do this kind of thing, right? So I think that was most likely their approach to it. And then I think as time went on, the walkers just started to do different things. And yes, it was weird the walker like turned the doorknob and all that. That was always like something that people pointed out. And then I think in the final season, like we saw those walkers again, but I think that was more of a nod to those kind of walkers. And I feel like around that point, around season 10, 11, when they were writing the final season and writing all of that, that was like something that they intentionally did, where they were like, you know what, we're going to bring back those older walkers, and it's going to be like a nice Easter egg to season 1. In my opinion, that was their approach, but I have no idea. Q&A, if you had to make another spinoff, who would you want in it? If I had to do another spinoff, I think I would just want an original story. Honestly, I've been more excited about that lately. Like, I don't want any other Walking Dead characters from Alexandria or anywhere else. Like, if they're going to do another spinoff, I want it to be on like an original cast, an original story. It could still be in the United States, that's fine, but just a different story. Maybe it's more set in winter, or like, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to see a different story overall. And I think, if it's really well cast, people like the characters, like people are going to like the story, and I think it would be really successful. Q&A, we've gotten a cameo in every spinoff so far. Who do you think it could be for Daryl Dixon season 2? I feel like if there's going to be a cameo at all, Sophia makes some sense. They'd have to recast, I guess, so it's not really necessarily a cameo. Ed, maybe, if you're focusing more on Carol, maybe you do a flashback to something from like way back in the day and you see Carol and Ed there. And then obviously you would have to recast Sophia, which I think is fine because it would be a couple of years probably before the apocalypse, right? So Sophia would be much younger. Besides that, I feel like Andrew Lincoln, like I think the chances of that are probably low, because I don't know if he would come back to do something like that. But I think to see Carol and Rick's first scene together in a long time would be really cool, because I don't want Carol to just find out off screen or like have run into Rick like off screen. I think that would just be really unfortunate in my opinion. Q&A, have you ever considered reviewing The Walking Dead Hot Takes? It's not a TV show, but just giving your thoughts on unpopular, perhaps controversial opinions about The Walking Dead from fans over the years. Maybe revealing some of your own. I guess I wouldn't mind doing something like that. Like that is sort of, it can be fun sometimes. It's just that some people don't really think of it as being fun, and they actually get really upset about it, which I guess is what's sort of fun about, giving hot takes and all that. I guess I could. I'd have to think of some, but that's an idea, I guess. Or I could react to people saying that. That's also fun. Q&A, for your reviews of older episodes, perhaps you can bounce from arc to arc. Say you complete the arc in which Rick and his group arrive and adjust to Alexandria, and then bounce to when the group arrives at the prison and encounter the governor. You know what? That would be something that would be kind of cool to do. Like right now, I'm very interested in, they just arrived to Alexandria. I do want to see more of the story play out here up until episode 8, because I think once they get to episode 8, or like of season 6, that's where things start to change a little bit, especially when you get to like the I guess March to War arc and like the All Out War arc, the story becomes very different. I like how it's just, it's very much focused on Rick's group right now, and just, all the drama in Alexandria is a lot of fun. So I could do that, I could go back back and review everything with the governor and all of that. I mean, I do plan to do that. That's actually like the next thing that I want to do. Like after I'm done reviewing this, I want to go back and do all of that. Like eventually I'll review every single episode. I'm not going to miss one episode, even if it just like in terms of arcs, there happens to be like an episode that I missed, and I'll go back and review that one just specifically. So also, will you do watch parties for Daryl's season 2 like you did for The Ones Who Live? Yes, I mean, if it's possible for me to do that, then I definitely will. I'm not sure what my schedule is going to be like when the show comes out. Obviously, you guys know, like I have 3 kids and, single father. I have to do everything, just everything. So it's, I do have some time Sundays. Like Sunday is the one day where I can have some time, but lately it hasn't seemed like that. I've had them much more, so it really depends on that. Like if I could find a babysitter and all that, that'd be awesome. We'll have to see what happens around that point there, but like I do plan to do that for sure. Like, 'cause that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun reacting to that and talking with you guys about the episodes and all of that. So Q&A, how do you think House of the Dragon season 2 will end? I love all your videos. Keep up the great work. Well, I think it's going to end with Rhaenyra taking over King's Landing, and I think Otto Hightower's death. I think those are the 2 big things that are going to happen in the very last episode, and we'll see what that sets up for a season 3, but I do think that's likely going to be the ending here. Q&A, have you ever thought about streaming games like Outlast or Resident Evil on your stream? I think a lot of people would be down to watch. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely, like, in terms of, like, gaming and streaming and all of that, like, again, there's so much I would do if I just had the time. Like, I wish I had a lot more time than I did, but which there is actually a possibility that by the time Daryl Dixon does come out, that I will actually have a lot more time. So in terms of that, then yeah, then I'll actually have like, all day to myself kind of thing. And then I can actually stream and actually work on stuff, like properly work on things and film things and all of that, because that would be a lot of fun. Like I miss doing that, and it's something that I love doing a lot. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But like Outlast, I mean, yeah, I would like to go back and actually because the first Outlast I never really properly played. Like I played it, but like I never properly played it. Outlast 2 is the game I played a lot more. But I would like to go back and play all that. And then obviously Resident Evil, I've played every single game. Besides like Code Veronica though, and I never played the original Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. I played obviously the remake, but the original back then, I never actually played. So yeah, it'd be kind of cool to go back and do all of that. So anyways, thank you all for posting all of your questions. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.